Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cass Chats. I am Cass Bowers. Thank you so much for joining me. So happy that you are coming back. I got another subscriber. I'm up to 10. So excited about the 10th subscriber. I'm going to start promoting my channel a little more. I might do some TikToks. I heard that I should be doing TikToks as well, which I don't have a problem with. They're actually easier to do and quicker, and so I'm thinking I'll do some TikToks as well. But for today, Wednesday, so for my Wednesday cast chat, like I said on Sunday, I think I'm going to get away from doing it on my research and I talk about dating and some other things, me as a grandmother, me and my life in general, all the things that I do, my friends, and all of that. So I'm going to switch the channel a little bit. And I still love my hair. It looks so good. It looks really good on camera too. It's a lot, but I like it. I really like it. It's very curly and fluffy, so I like it. I also like my nails. They still are cute. But let's get into today's topic. I want to start eventually, maybe next week, talking about me dating as a grandma or as a Gigi, and I'll get into that Gigi later. But I want to start with like the 5 myths of new age grandmas, or the stereotypes about grandmothers like me. There's a lot, but I'm only going to go over 5 because I hear so many things, and people are so negative about how women should be as anything, but how women should be as grandmothers. And I'm like, what? Why would I care or do things the way my grandmother did them? Like, I do care. I did care about my grandmothers. Unfortunately, both of my grandmothers have passed. But I really love my grandmothers. They were really important. They were really involved in my life, my entire life, and they helped form me and who I am, the woman I am today. It's, impartial to how my grandmothers were as women. But do I know if they were really happy? I don't. Sadly, I don't know, other than my little selfish grandchild world of how happy they were, because maybe they weren't just happy for being around their grandchildren. And now that I have grandchildren, I kind of know that my life is more than just my grandchildren. So that's why I'm doing this video, to kind of just like at least debunk some of the myths as related to Cass and me as a grandmother. The number one thing I hear about grandmothers and the difference between maybe my grandmothers and me is that I don't cook. I don't like to cook. I don't cook very often. I used to cook every year for Thanksgiving, but I no longer celebrate Thanksgiving. So now I don't cook. And I don't, it's not something I like to do. Every now and then I'll have a taste for something that I like the way I make, or I only like the way I make it, and I'll make it and it'll be great and I'll love it and I'll be like in a cooking like frenzy for a little while, and then I'll stop because cooking isn't important to me. I like to eat. No, let me take that back. I love to eat. And so I eat very well, but it's normally at somebody else's house, or maybe my mom's house, my bestie's house, or a restaurant, or anywhere. My brother's a chef. So yeah, that's a myth that's really true for me, at least. I love my grandsons. I have 4, as you know. I love my grandsons tremendously. I am an active part of their lives. They literally just left, and I enjoy being with them. But I very rarely cook for them. I'll make tacos, which, guess what? My grandmother made tacos for me when I was a child too. She didn't like all that other food that you would probably think your grandmother made for you and loved. My grandmother liked tacos and burgers and like quote unquote American food, which is really native food, but we'll get into that some other day. But she only made the other type of food for my grandfather, but she didn't like it. So when he passed away, she started making the food she really liked, which was burgers and fries and um, things like that. Anyway, so I wrote it down. So I'm looking down at my list to make sure I didn't forget anything. So the number one is the expectations you have on grandmothers to cook a lot of food and this big meal, or the types of food that grandmothers should cook, is a myth. Because if that grandmother isn't happy doing that, would you really want your grandmother to be begrudgingly cooking you something that she's not happy to do? No, my grandchildren love me tremendously. I know this for a fact. When they see me, the little boys are two. When they see me, they're like so excited. And I spend time with them. I get on the floor and I play with them. I don't remember my grandmothers ever getting on the floor and playing with me. Maybe because they were a little older. Maybe because they were in the kitchen cooking. I don't know. But I spend a lot of time with them. We watch movies together. We play games together. And occasionally we will cook together. We'll bake something. Cam, the older one, the one that has the channel, a little plug, the Cameron Bowers Show. He loves to cook. He loves to be in the kitchen. So sometimes he'll come up with something that he wants to make with me, and we'll make it together. We do things like that. So I do things with my grandchildren to cook with them. Mostly I'm a baker anyway, so we bake things together. But as far as cooking for them, they eat well. I'll tell you that. I will put things in the air fryer. Yep, sure will. But my grandchildren do not lack love from me, and they know that I love them, and I know that they love me. That's number one. Number two, they don't call me grandma. They call me Gigi. They call me Gigi. I do not have a problem with grandma. I'm not ashamed to be a grandma. I don't ever call my grandkids anything other than my grandkids. I always introduce them as is my grandson and the grandson's name. I've never been ashamed of that. I was a pretty young grandmother, and when I became a grandmother, my daughter was like, grandma doesn't fit you. Let's think of something else. So she came up with the name Gigi and decided, she did some research and decided Gigi would be the name that would fit me. And it does. I love it. I love being a Gigi. I love that Gigi is grandma for my grandkids. They know that Gigi is also their grandmother. And they call my mother grandma because their parents call her that. So she's grandma like my grandmother, we called her Ma, and everybody called her that. So I feel like my grandsons call her grandma because their parents call her grandma. So, I have no shame in being a grandmother. I love it. If you know me, you've heard me talk about my grandkids probably too much, but they call me Gigi. I also love that. Number three. Oh yeah, three. I love crab legs. So that whole thing about grandmothers, these new grandmothers, all they want to do is eat crab legs and drink Henny. So what? Who cares? Are my grandchildren loved? They are. So what difference does it make what I drink, what I do? I actually don't really like Henny that much. I have a really good friend, actually one of my besties, her daughter, who's a really good friend of mine as well. She makes a really great drink with Hennessy. It's so good, and I do love it. And we do drink it with crab legs every now and then. And I just had crab legs on Friday. Yes, and you know what I did? The next day, I took those crab legs and I broke them all open, and I scooped out all the crab meat, and I put it in some scrambled eggs, and I mixed it together and had like a scrambled egg bowl with crab meat on top. It was delicious. So baby, I can cook. I just don't like it. Anyway, yes, and I'm more of a tequila girl. I like a good margarita more than I like Henny, so do with that what you will. I am a newfangled grandmother. New age, call me what you want. Number four. Speaking of tequila, I love a good happy hour. Yes, I go to happy hour. Yes, I still go to places. I will go to one of my favorite places is Brownstone in Milwaukee. You should check it out. But there's lots of places in Milwaukee to go, and I go to them, and I love it. I went to a place on Sunday and sat on the patio and had a Cosmo Mule, delicious. And again, I'm sounding like an alcoholic like a couple of vlogs ago, but who cares? I'm not going to be ashamed or put your expectations on me as how a grandmother should be. I'm a grandmother and I love happy hour. And number 5, I can't read my handwriting. Number 5. I don't know what number 5 is. I can't read my own. I wrote it so fast I can't read my own handwriting. What would number 5 be? Um, I don't know. I seriously can't read what it says. It says something. Number 5 is going to be I am single, and I probably will remain single. There's no pawpaw here. There's no one that is in the running to be a pawpaw here. I don't have any plans of ever getting a pawpaw for my grandchildren. Who knows? That could all change. But there is no grandfather in this deal. And I know for a fact almost that lots of folks expect grandmothers to be these old frumpy married women who just stay at home and cook and clean and take care of their grandchildren. That's not me. It wasn't me as a mother. It's not me as a grandmother. And if I become a great grandmother, it won't be me as a great grandmother. Hope to see that. But I am who I am. This is me, Gigi, Cass. If you see my grandbabies, they're beautiful. I love them tremendously. But the expectations of a woman and how she's supposed to be as a grandmother, I reject. I sort of reject all of the patriarchy and misogyny associated with how it is to be a woman, especially a Black woman in this country. Nearly everything I reject. And this is no different. I do it the way I want to do it. I grandmother the way I want to grandmother. And I really wish I could remember what that said. And before you say it, I haven't had a drop of liquor. I'm just happy. I'm in a good mood. I put on some nice clothes, a little blazer, a little striped shirt, and these beautiful red Africa earrings, and my hair done. And I thought today would be the perfect time to make a video about grandmothers. So yes, this is what grandmothers look like in 2021. They're GGs. They're GGs that don't cook, that spend time with their grandchildren, that go to happy hour, eat crab legs, and they aren't married. That's me. That's it. So that's me. That's it. That's all I have to say on that. Next week, we'll get into how GGs date and who they date and why they date. And maybe I'll start with a horror story of one of the dates that I went on that wasn't that great. So take your expectations of grandmothers and put them somewhere else. All right, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.